So we're excited about that.
Sorry. So what event did you go to, Jelante? I know it, but the rest of these people don't.
We actually went to the Deal Maker weekend.
Okay, cool. And what's that about?
That is more so about business acquisitions. There's a lot of real estate investors in there as well, but it was actually a really cool event. But it was actually hosted. Well, one of the people, of course, was through Chris Moore, who actually invited us. But it was a great event, man. Business acquisitions, marketing, and was it real estate investing as well? So it was kind of like a mixture of everything, like one big melting pot.
Yeah, there's some pretty high level people there, right?
Dude, high level. Oh my gosh, bro. The stage, man. The stage of 4 people was like close to. I think the net worth there was about $500 million. I mean, these guys were. Every guy up there is worth over $100 million each. It was crazy.
It's pretty
Beautiful,
wild,
though.
isn't it?
Oh man, dude, it's mind blowing, your perspective on things and just like the knowledge that these guys was willing to give you. Great information, man. Beautiful thing.
Super cool, man. That
Yes,
is, I went to the one in Vegas in September, and man, there's just a lot of really cool people that I met there. A lot of people doing big things. It really changes your perspective, and it kind of starts to normalize things a little bit for you. We think that like when we first get started in this game, maybe we think $10,000 or $20,000 a month is a ton of money, but then you see people who are doing, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a month. And I mean, well, like that's great to have that much money. They're making that much money because of the impact that they're having, right? It's just like a byproduct of impact. And there's some people in that room that are really like changing the world for people in a positive way, helping other businesses out, creating new businesses, jobs, all kinds of stuff. There's a ton of philanthropy, people doing philanthropy in that room too. I don't know if you got the chance to meet Abraham, but I know he had, like Chris was telling me, he did like 700 deals with people, and he just kind of let them buy himself out of it to try to help them out, which was like, it's really cool to have people that are that successful, that are focused on giving and trying to help other people,
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, man. Between Carl Allen, Abraham, Gray, Chris Moore, what was the other one? What was his name? Pace Morby.
Pace,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, these guys are tremendous guys, man. I mean, like they're very humble, very great people, and just gave a lot of information. And like I said, they're very, they're just giving all this information to people, man, which is tremendous, tremendous.
Awesome.
And to be honest
Yeah.
with you, I never actually understood that whole, the whole business acquisition until I got, into that weekend, man. And I'm just like, yo, this is wild. Yeah.
That's super cool, man. Yeah, I love that. I love that group. I love that crowd there. Just amazing people doing big stuff. So yeah. Hopefully this group, when with Chris coming on as my partner in the coaching program, I think we're going to get a lot of access to people in that group, which is going to be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah,
Awesome.
actually, you got a lot of wisdom. I'm sorry, real quick as well, but you got a lot of a lot of praise through Chris as well. Chris, I think the room was maybe like 250 people, give or take. The event, and I mean, he spreads your name out there like like wildfire. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
super cool, man. He's a great friend.
Absolutely,
giving dude. Cool. All right. Appreciate that, Jelante. Thank you for sharing. Who else has some wins?
I got a little one. Oh,
what you got, George?
So finally took the time to set up some automation. So we got a support ticket system set up. We put some products on our website now, and we actually got our first order where somebody who is an existing customer of ours just went to our website, filled out the order, paid for it. Ticket automatically goes to my support team, and they started working on it. So it was like a hands-off $500 almost. So
and it's out of the country sale too. That's not bad.
Yeah, let's try and do another 50 of those a month, and just get those repeaters coming back. And the thing that I like about it, I mean, it virtually is almost completely hands-off. So it's there's no more getting on the phone calls with them, no more emails. It's just like, here, this is what you want. It's a product, buy it, pay for it. Ticket goes to support. The support team starts working on it. Support team lets them know when the work's been done.
Awesome.
Hey, to add to that, Patrick, and I see we're all wearing our red shirts. So There you go, George.
Which ticket system are you using?
Support Candy. It's inexpensive, and for what I'm trying to do, it's got enough features. They also have, I don't know, 10, 15 different plugins where you can like auto assign tickets, auto close tickets, all those sorts of things. So it was easy to set up. It's set up on WordPress. So it's a subdomain on my agency site. Takes like 3 minutes to set that up. And then all I did was just created a form, linked it into LeadSnap. So I see the lead going into LeadSnap when somebody interacts with it. That form, they hit a Stripe invoice link first. And when they get paid and when it successfully goes through, they get redirected to fill out the form. And then that's when the form goes into support. So, it's eliminated, I guess, a little bit of a problem where people said, oh yeah, I want to buy that from you. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's great. We can get started on it. Send us your info. And, it's been kind of that lag of, spending too much time chasing too small a deal. So now it's like, if you want it, you buy it, you pay for it, you get it.
So what type of product are you selling on this? Is this some kind of service or SEO service that
there's some SEO services that we're selling.
Okay.
And we've got things like, add-ons for your websites, 5-page website builds, cloud stacks, so what we're really trying to do is once we expose somebody to our agency and we have them as a customer, hopefully they can come back and take a look at what we've got. They like something, they try it, and they're like, oh, well, I'd like to try this too. So it's just a little bit easier way for them to interact with us. And because it's integrated with LeadSnap, we see when they fill things out. And so that's a big plus. And then we're, kind of tracking it and, adds to our monthly pipeline of deals that we're closing.
Sure. That's super cool. I like it, man. That's a unique way to set things up. And I think, there's a lot to learn there. There's a lot of opportunities for other people to set something up like this and have that automated process in place.
Yeah.
And to add to that, on the sales end, I started using more and more of the CRM within LeadSnap, and I didn't like HubSpot. There were a couple others that did this. Just sometimes I can't figure it out, but the videos will help me. And there's a lot in that CRM. I like the ability and the flexibility because now we're pretty accurate with deal forecasting and stuff. You put together something real good here, guys.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. That's super cool. We have some awesome changes. I've shown a couple people. I think that there's a lot of functionality in here that people don't know exists, and by making the system easier to use, I think we can. I think more people can take advantage of it. So we're kind of rebuilding things, and with the goal of just improving the usability a lot. I've got it kind of mocked up and sketched out, and I'm really excited because I think it doesn't matter how powerful the system is if people can't figure out a seamless way to leverage it, right? So that's kind of what we're working towards.
Yep.
And we built this thing and it's changed so many times, and we've added on to it. It was hard to kind of start with the end in mind on this one because it's just kind of like spread off in other directions. But we've got to revamp parts of things to make it easier to use for all you guys. But I appreciate that feedback. I'm glad that you're getting a ton of use out of it now, Nick. It's great to hear. All right, who else has some wins?
I got one, Patrick.
Oh, look at this guy. What's up, man? It's good to see you, Frank.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
My win is I'm here today.
Yeah. Normally you're at work right now, right?
It's been challenging for me, but I got my domain set up, my hosting, got my page set up, targeted my 4 locations in the city that I'm going to run that test on that we talked about on the BOGO deal. And so I'm building out. I got ZimWriter. Man, that's amazing for the content. So
yeah,
I was surprised what they're pulling up on the tile stuff. Is pretty incredible. So yeah. I'm on my way.
Absolutely, man. Frank, so a lot of you guys know I had the opportunity to go and speak at SEO at the Beach this past weekend in Clearwater, Florida, and Frank was there. Frank, what were some of the big takeaways for you from the SEO at the Beach event that maybe can bring value to the people that didn't have the opportunity to attend?
Number one, hands down, is connecting at any event you can get to. I think hands down is the major thing, because I almost didn't even go to that, and I missed yours because I had a big job scheduled that weekend. But I was kind of forced to show up in Clearwater, so I made it there. And just the to be able to talk to people live and get the information and spend time with people like you and Spencer and, you know, Bradley Benner, and it helps you step over the big rocks that tend to get in your way. And they're mostly mental. I mean, they're mostly, for me, it's a time thing a little bit, but I'm done making the excuses on that too, because I need to get this thing rolling. And little intimidated on the big, super big, you know, rank and rent that I want to do with restoration, because that's my business. My dog's in here, sorry. Restoration. But after talking to about a half a dozen people there, the second big takeaway is that if you just build it right and take your time and then roll out slowly, you take those smaller and smaller bites at a time, and then it doesn't seem so daunting, you know. I know it's a challenging, I know that it's a competitive that I'm going to do. That's why I'm going to do the tile one first and get my feet wet and learn your system and learn the LeadSnap, and then I'll go bigger on the next one. So those are the two majors. Just the brains, Patrick. I mean, just the intelligence that's there, and the people that share in a closed setting. I mean, they share stuff that nobody would ever put on the internet for ranking, you know?
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, those guys are just like, they've found a little kind of sub niche to focus on, and then they just went crazy on it for years and years. And you know, the amount of information that they share there it was overwhelming. You know, it was hard for me to keep up with some of the strategies and tactics that they were talking about there, you know?
Yeah, you almost need a debriefing when you're done with some of those guys. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to bring some of those guys onto our call at some point. We kind of built that friendship, just like you were saying. It was some of these people I had talked to for a few years, like Bradley Benner, Matt Versteeg, you know, Mike Merlino, Brock Meiser. I talked to them a little bit, but I'd never really met them in person. And you really can kind of build that relationship and find out what they're all about when it's not just like a Zoom call where it's strictly business, you know?
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's super cool. Awesome. Well, Frank, it was a pleasure to meet you in person, man. And this guy was nice enough to buy me everywhere I went where he was around. He was paying for stuff for me, which is cool. Which, you know, I'm like, we got to make sure we invite this guy to the next one.
I didn't cover your room though.
Well, we took the RV this time, man. We took the RV.
Right.
Yeah. We got to bring that thing out every once in a while and go on adventures with it. So, but it was awesome to connect with you in person, Frank, man. That was super cool.
Great. Great weekend. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, You're welcome. For sure. Cool. All right, guys. Who else has some wins? Who else has something to share? For sure. Cool. All right, guys. Who else has some wins? Who else has something to share? Jannery, we're getting some. Is that
Jannery?
Yeah, there was just a little.
Jannery, we're getting some. Is that? Oh.
Yeah, there was just a little. Okay.
Yeah, I think she has some issues with her computer.
Hey, Patrick, also, we're not streaming in Facebook, and for some reason it just kicked us off of YouTube. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that.
Just started the restream. I was fixing it. Is it live now on Facebook maybe?
I'm not sure, but it definitely kicked it off of YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We've got it recorded, so we can come back to it.
Yeah, it's in YouTube. I mean, Facebook now.
Okay, cool.
But now it's not on YouTube, so.
All right. Well, we've got the recording, so we'll stitch it up later and fix it.
Cool.
So cool. Any other wins? Guys, today is going to be like a Q&A session. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks with us. And a lot of you guys know the ones that join Rank Masters, we're putting a lot of time and effort into that. But we should be back 2 weeks from now. Next week, we will not have a call. I'm actually attending another event next week in Miami. So I will be tied up next Wednesday. But after that, we'll be back on our normal schedule. I'll release the topic of the call next in the next week or so for the one that's 2 weeks from now. I think 3 weeks from now, I'm going to bring on my friend who is like an EOS implementer. And he is going to really dive in and show us some of the strategies that EOS can do for your business, helping out with operations and stuff like this. Really amazing way to run your business. So we got 2 wins from Jannery. She connected about 20 businesses looking to make us their core marketing team for their business acquisition. It sounds like 1 win or 20 wins.
Patrick, I got some. We got a couple.
Look at this
wins.
guy, Eugene Song. What's
I'm
up,
back.
brother? Yes.
Yeah, we just closed a deal this morning, and then we brought back a client from the winter, brought him back from the dead, but kind of raised his rent a little bit. And just what we got one of the VAs he got promoted up into sales right now. And we got him off online jobs and stuff, but he's like making a lot of progress, man. Like, he's really sharpening up his sales skills. And so it's just cool to see. Like, I never thought that would be possible to have someone out there like on the sales team, but he's starting to grow into his role, man. So you helped me figure out how to hire people and stuff. I remember back in the day. So that was
awesome, man. That's
cool.
great to hear. Yeah, I mean, as long as people have the English skill good enough to communicate, there's no reason why they can't go into the sales role. It's just, I think for a lot of people that can be a tough thing to overcome. But man, if they got that sales bone, what a valuable way to plug someone in from another country, right?
Yeah, man, and it's a tough job, man. So it's not for everyone, but he's able to hang in there. So I'm proud of him. Proud of his growth.
Gene, are you going to join us at the next mastermind, man? Yeah,
100%, man. It's a big regret that I didn't get to go, man.
You got some FOMO?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So everybody else, don't live by my example. Learn from my mistakes.
There you go. It was an awesome event, man. I was sad that you and Mr. Patrick Rulin weren't able to join us this last time, but you guys, for those who are considering, it's going to be the last week of July in Orlando, and I think we're going to move it away from the weekend just because everything is like so much busier on the weekends. I'm going to send out a survey for the people that attended the first one, but like that last like 24th, 25th around there in July in Orlando. So pencil that in. We'll send out the actual dates when we confirm it, but that's what we're looking at right now. So awesome. We got Patrick Rulin says he's in. Eugene, anything else to share, brother?
No, that's all for now.
Okay, man. Thank you. It's great to see you, brother. All right. Who else has some wins? And then you guys be thinking of questions, because I want to kind of change the format for this call a little bit. I know normally we're presenting things, but I want to also make sure at least once a month we give you guys the opportunity to kind of like ask questions, what you're struggling with. Come on, get a couple minutes of coaching. Maybe some of the other people that are on the call can also, contribute to your question. So I'm going to share my win. So for the last 3 or 4 years, I spent a lot of time coaching people and helping people in this group, other groups, random people, wherever I can find them. And it's been kind of a stressful thing for me at times, feeling like I don't have enough time to give people the help that I feel like they need. And at our mastermind event 2 weeks ago, we launched our coaching program, Rank Masters. We are doing our first call tomorrow in our group. I am super excited for it. We've brought in a summit, like Jolante mentioned. I partnered with a friend of mine from another mastermind that I met a few years ago named Chris. We're bringing in some really high-level coaches. It's looking like a few calls per week with some accountability, getting exposure to high-level people at the events. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, and I think Jannery and Joe, if like maybe Joe, since Jannery's got some audio issues, we went over, and one of the things that I kind of identified with them that I also identified with Spencer is just this like lack of clarity on your offer and how damaging that can be to your ability to scale. Because if you don't have a clear offer that you can take to someone, then your deliverables are kind of like all over the place. And I think, I kind of had a short conversation with Jannery after their event, to talk to all these different people. Jannery, you got your audio sorted out, or Joe, can you talk a little bit about the offer adjustments without going into like the real details and you know what that meant to you guys from an ability to like kind of connect with people when you were at that event? Did we lose Joe?
I'm here. I don't know if
There
I'm,
she is. Jannery Canary. I'm not hearing the reverberation anymore now. I think your audio is good.
okay, good. So you were saying how to do the offer without saying the details of.
Yeah, I just don't want to get buried in the weeds on it, but I know we didn't really have a clear offer. And then right before that event, we kind of got clear on what it was going to look like.
Oh, yeah. So don't say what the offer is that you mentioned to us.
I don't mind. I mean, you can share it. I just don't want to, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to it, right? So
Yeah. So pretty much just like having a clear offer that allows you to really service and help the client. Do I sound fine?
yeah, you sound great.
Okay, make sure. Okay. Help build the client up, but at the same time as a service, but at the same time building our assets around a companion sites to really build it up and help the customer. So that way there's longevity that we can help them grow. And then just having one clear offer. And then after that, solving the next bleeding problem pretty much. And then keep building.
Jerry, your audio is getting
right.
I think it's the Wi-Fi.
yeah.
Is it
Sorry.
lagging?
Man, she has a Mac.
There we go. All right. I'll kind of translate. Here's what I've observed, and this is what I felt from Jannery and Joe and a few other people is if we don't have that clear offer on what we're doing, then that comes across to anyone that you're trying to sell. And if you don't have your clear offer, then you don't know what your deliverables are. And this is where you can get yourself in trouble because you can't really establish a clear profit margin. But if we say like, hey, this is how much it's going to cost us, and this is how much we're going to charge for it, and this is like the small menu of options that we have, then we can like manufacture our profit. And we can sell with confidence knowing that, hey, if they buy this, this is going to be beneficial for them and we're going to profit from them. And I've just really, it's really clicked into my head that a lot of people struggle with that where they don't really have their offer dialed in. So having one that we can repeat, like we get it out there and we rinse and we repeat and repeat. This is the pathway to scalability. And if you can draw a straight line from the offer to the deliverables and say, okay, when I sell this, I know I can get this exact, like I can go here and get this here. And I know that I can mark this up and I can do the work to manage it and I can do it in a way that's profitable. And then if you can set that up, you can train someone to do that. But when we have like 25 different offers where it's like, let's do this, then it's very hard to kind of bridge the gap on like the profit and the deliverables and like when everything, one of my realizations over the last year is when we just do strictly lead gen, it's like we got that target on our back and pairing it with a little bit of SEO service in a way where we can show value from the beginning can take that off our back and allow us to scale faster because we're not constantly waiting on something to rank. And that's the only way that we can bring in money. So I'm really excited for this kind of like to teach you guys some of this change in there. But all right, let's go. So I see Eugene has a question. Eugene, we're finding some clients, it's hard to get them on board to participate in review generation. What are some strategies we can use to get them more excited about helping out with that?
I want to chime in on that SEO lead gen thing.
Oh, sure, Patrick.
Just because I have a couple clients like that, and I should maybe send them reports and stuff, but I don't really send them anything. But it's just like I'm giving them so many leads, and then on top of the SEO, they're already ranked #1. So I don't like I've already ranked them like #1 in a lot of things, so I don't really feel the pressure. Whereas if I just had SEO, I mean, they'd probably leave, but I just don't feel like they'll ever leave ever. And if they do, I don't care because I do have that lead gen part. But no SEO company can really come in and SEO companies come in, those, people get shiny objects, but there's really no SEO company can do anything because they can't offer just an extra 40 leads or 30 leads.
Right.
If you get an extra 10, they just can't offer that. Like they
Right.
can't do it. It's going to cost them freaking $1,500, $2,000 in Google Ads to do that. So I
Here's
like
what
that. I
Patrick,
like that strategy a lot.
yeah, like after going straight lead gen for like 6 years, when it's great when everything is ranking really well, then it's like this is going to go on forever. But the problem that we ran into in our agency, and I saw a lot of other like people that are strictly lead gen run into this, is like about 12 months ago, Google really started shaking the tree, right? And we lost some clients, we lost some GMBs, we lost some ranking, and all our clients were considering from us was like lead gen. So that model has been amazing for a long time, and I don't want to downplay that model or say anything bad about it, but I think what's hard to scale though is like if you bring on a new client, what we typically would do is be like, hey, it's like $2,500 startup fee, and then we're going to start charging you when leads start to come in, which might be like 4 to 6 months, or you can run like Google Ads, but unless you have a really high level expert in Google Ads, it's going to be hard, and that person will be expensive. It's going to be hard for you to like have like a margin in between what you're spending on the ads and what you can actually charge for a lead. And I know people can do this. I know like Doug, I think he's on the call. He's selling legal leads. I hope that's allowed to be shared. If not, he's not selling them. And they're worth so much money that profit margin is a little bit more. I think if you add in the SEO services, and I hate doing the client reporting, Patrick, I'm there with you, but here's kind of what I'm moving my agency to is like my account manager is going to handle the client reporting, and I'm going to pair it with SEO. So as well as with other things too, right? Like we talked about our phone answering service that we're going to give to our clients, because I don't know if you felt this, but I've certainly felt it, where we send them 40, 50, 100 leads a month, and they answer the call 30% of the time, and they try to call these people back, and those people don't answer, and they're like, wait, your leads aren't that good. Like they're all tire kickers. Well, you miss 70% of the calls, right? And and the ones that you called back, it was 2 or 3 days, they've already got other quotes, right? So we're kind of looking at it to solve a lot of these like Jannery started to mention that bleeding problem. What's the problem that like, well, if those calls are actually going in, instead of being like a mixture of spam calls and tire kickers, if we can get someone that's trained on sales to just like book appointments for them, and then combine that with like, hey, we built you this website, we've added this page, here's your traffic, here's your rankings, and we do some SEO services for them and combine it with our lead gens, I think you become even more weatherproof than either one of them on its own. And it gives you the ability to, like, I can show them this first month, I built you this website, right? The second month, we've added these pages. So we're showing value. Here's the reviews that have come in, right? So we kind of dilute the value or like spread it across multiple things rather than just one and having the target on our back. But I agree, if that one's pumping along, the advantages are, hey, we don't have to deal with the client so much, and they can't leave us, but it's also can make us vulnerable. And when Google is just like actively trying to attack lead gens, right? Like they've come out. I don't know. Have you felt it? Have you felt that at all, Patrick? Have you lost some of your GMBs or?
I've gotten them all back. I'm pretty relentless. Like,
yeah.
I just tell them this is my business, and I'll just respond like 50 times. It might take me a month and a half, but I'll get it back.
Right.
Like, I'll do whatever. But yeah, I just think I just think that's a good strategy. I think it would be easier to get reviews from clients as well. Like, hey, we're going to get some to your site, and then to these ones, because they're just bringing you more business. Like this whole thing's for you,
For sure.
Instead of just trying to get them all for our sites, I just have a hard time getting clients on board for that, and reviews are really important. You can always kind of brand those lead gens to them as well, but not like fully brand them, but like just put like something in the beginning. I don't know if that's a great idea, but I've like tried stuff with that.
I've had the same issues and the same thing that Eugene had mentioned. So as a solution, LeadSnap started as a solution to our problems, and it continues to be that. One of the things that we're building in is kind of like a round robin review rotation between different between different links. So that way we could say, hey, client, put them into this sequence here, and we can rotate and say, I want like 50% to go to the clients, and then I want maybe 50% to be split across these 3 GMPs, and it will just like round robin them, just like it round robins in the phone system, but for the review request. So it's not always showing them the same link. And I want to set it up so that we can have rules where it's like, hey, maybe send all reviews to the property that has the least amount, right? So it keeps like balancing them out. Or maybe it's like, send it to this based on like, what was the one that hasn't had the review in the longest time. We'll just keep sending it, and then that way we do it that way. So we're working on that, and I think it's going to help solve some of these problems. To answer your question though, Eugene, that's a challenge, and I think it's going to require some sales from you. And my sales pitch looks something like this for that. Look, the reviews, getting more reviews is going to help you in 3 ways. And if you can come up with more, then add it in there. But number 1, it's going to increase your rankings, right? And just a small increase in rankings can result in a big increase in business for you. Since we're exclusive with you, all this stuff goes to you, right? So the more reviews you get, the easier it is. And I would use that antenna analogy as a part of it, as like, hey, when you put an antenna in the ground, wherever you're closest to the antenna, you have the strongest signal. And every time we get a review, that signal gets a little bit taller. Show them the heat map and say, look, this is your competitors beating you. And to overtake them, we need more reviews, right? So you've got to kind of put the sales hat on a little bit for them. The second thing is ask them like, hey, if there's like 2 pairs of shoes on Amazon and one has better reviews, are you willing to pay more money for it? The answer is yes. For most people, they'll pay more money for your service, and it'll be easier to close. So it's got more business coming in, easier to close, and we can close them for more. Another strategy is to probably charge them for it. It's kind of counterintuitive, but if you uptick and say, look, you got to have reputation management, and it's going to be $150 extra per month, like that increases the perception of value for the service. And if they're paying for it, maybe they'll be active in trying to take advantage of it. Another thing is like, tell them, hey, we've seen our clients that are the most involved in this are the ones that get the best results. So if you want to increase your return on investment from us, then do this. One of the strategies you can do is, if you've got multiple crews, maybe you give them a bonus for whatever crew generates the most reviews, the most positive reviews during the month. But you're going to have to spend some time with them and not just be like, hey, we've got this review system. It would really be cool if you could like take advantage of it. Another strategy could be at the end of the month, should be like, hey, can you send me over a list of the clients, their names, their phone numbers, and their emails that you guys closed the job on? And we upload those into the contacts area, the template inside of LeadSnap, and then we put them into an automation for them. It may be that you're account manager. So Eugene, you've got your new guy that's doing sales. It's a really good one-to-one kind of match to have your salespeople do account management until you get to a spot where you've got maybe multiple salespeople that are required, and you need to have a dedicated account manager to keep up with a number of clients. And this person, you can hold this person accountable for like, hey, how many reviews came in for this client? Well, he needs to be reaching out and getting those and pushing that forward. And you give him a small bonus for getting some of those reviews. Having those reviews come in not only makes it easier for us to sell, but it also, if we start to include this as an SEO service at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, whenever you do that check-in with the client, that's one more thing that you could show them that you're responsible for producing. So we added these pages. Here's how your heat map has changed for the GMPs you own. Here's how your reviews have changed. Here's your traffic, right? Here's our game plan for next month. That's what that like check-in with the client can look like. So Eugene, do you feel like that gives you some extra weapons on how to sell that?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. It actually got me brainstorming too. I was like, well, let's say they're consistent about it. They're getting you 2 or 3 per month. Then, the heat map's definitely going to change, right? So, and the leads are going to go up 100%, right? So it's like, maybe if we can tell them, hey, we can lock you in at this price if you're participating. So essentially you're going to have the same price, but we're not going to upsell you for this lead gen. You know, you're going to be getting twice as many leads, but normally we would raise the price for clients, right? If we did that, but if you are participating in it, then you're locking in your price here and you're going to get twice as many leads. So
100%.
Good one.
The way the heat map works, this was a recommendation by Harry Gilliam, and we made the change last month or 2 months ago. So whenever you run a heat map, it's like a picture at that moment, and it locks in whatever reviews are present at the time of that heat map. They're stuck that way. So as you add more reviews, it doesn't update the old heat map with the review count. It's whatever it was at the time that it ran. So if we know that, and we also, as marketers, we know the impact of those reviews on our heat maps. If we go and we look back over time, you can show from other clients and be like, hey, I want to show you this. This is how their heat map was when they had 7 reviews. 3 months later, you can see they have 30 reviews. This is an updated version. And this is what it looks like today with 50 reviews. So being able to show that and make that connection, you have to get them enrolled on it, right? Once you get them enrolled and it's just a part of what they do, our lives are easier from that point on. So it's a huge thing that it's worth the time in selling them. Okay, cool. All right, we've got about 23 minutes left. Who else is stuck with something? What other questions can I answer? Who's tripping over something in their business right now? Alec, while we're waiting, we got Mr. Alec Newmeyer. Just had an idea for LeadSnap. May already be possible. Can we set up recurring automatic heat maps to happen every month? Tracking? Yes, you can. So if you go into the scheduling, I'll just kind of share my screen real quick and I'll show you where you can do this at, Alec. Give me 1 second to log in appropriately. All right.
That's twice today. I thought of something and you already had it built, Patrick.
I started off this call talking about how I've got to make the system easier so people are more aware of the functionality. Okay, so if you go in here to the heat map here, you can just come up here to schedule, and you can make a new schedule. And then, so the way this works now, and this is one of like the usability improvements I want to make, is when you run a heat map, you have the option. So let's say I'm going to run one for this construction company here, and it's roofing, construction and roofing. So say I say roofing contractor. I have no idea whose business this is or where this is from. So let's say I choose this, right? So this is the heat map that I have set up. And here's another, if you guys haven't taken advantage of this, you can see this one's kind of out over the water. So I don't really want to check my rankings over the water because I'm not really interested in boat or swimmer traffic. So I'm just going to carve this out how I want it to be, right? And I'll hit all of Green Bay because that seems important. So I'll go up here and I can reshape this to be exactly where I want it, like this. Okay, so I have this option to click right here and save the configuration. And the configuration is everything. So that is like the heat map and the grid. And if I click here, I can save just the grid. So for instance, if I've got multiple clients in Green Bay that are serving the same area, then I can have the grid here. And I have the option to load any grid right through here. And I have the option to load any configuration right through here. So when I click on start heat map, it's going to give me this pop-up, and I'll just call this like Green Bay. So Green Bay right roofing, I think is what it was called, something like that. So this is going to just be Green Bay, right? Green Bay area, because that's just the map area and it's not related to the GMB. And when I click on save, it's going to start the heat map, but it's also got it now in the grids. And if I want to go over here and take advantage of scheduling this, I can choose this, whatever it was, Green Bay roofing. And maybe I want this to run, I'll say right Green Bay roofing weekly. So I'm going to run this once a week. When do I want to start it? Maybe what I want to do is I'm going to start it a week from now, since I've already started that one. And I can run this through one keyword, or I can type that in, or if I've got a keyword list. So I don't know if we have like a roofing. So we have a roofing keyword list. So when I click on this, now every week, which I guess every Wednesday, it's going to run this. over here is where I can make keyword lists, right? So I can make a new list and I can add whatever keywords I want in here. So this could be like, you know, whatever, this could be HVAC. And then I could add in like AC installation. Is that what you're talking about, Alec Newmeyer? I think
That's it right there. Yep.
Cool. More new features for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. What other questions do we have, guys?
Jared Bell has a question about getting photos approved in the GMB. He said he's not getting them approved after uploading, even when he gets them from the client.
Yeah, Google can be really, really picky with these photos.
Mhm.
I think within LeadSnap, you get a reason why it's rejected sometimes. When it's coming from a client, it's hard to know why it would be rejected. I'm sorry, Jared, I don't have a clean answer for you. One of the things I would do is I would look at Google's photo policy, but it's just kind of like GMBs. I think they're on the prowl for things. And here's my opinion. As they start to be real strict with things like photos and reviews, the reason that they would be strict with photos and reviews, in my opinion, is because they influence ranking and they don't want people to, they want to make sure that those things are, that they can be confident in those before they allow those to impact ranking. So I know that isn't an answer, but I think that they matter. And I think their rejection of them strengthens that association. I wish I had a better answer for you though.
Do we know how many photos are being uploaded to that review? And is it the photos being uploaded to the post or the review?
Yeah, Jared, can you, great question, Riz. Good to see you, Mr. Riz. So there he is. Look at this guy. I got to hang out with this guy for 2 weekends in a row. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to meet Riz, really awesome guy, very knowledgeable, real giver. I saw him helping other people. I'm really glad that we got the opportunity to connect the last 2 weeks, Riz. That was awesome. So his question for you, Jared, is the same for me. Is like, are these getting rejected as a part of like adding him to reviews, post, or just like trying to add them straight to your GMB? From my understanding, it sounded like he was trying to add them straight to his GMB.
Yeah, he's saying not on reviews, photos to cover photo, general photos from owner.
General photos from owner. Yeah.
Okay, so he might be trying to do it from the back end.
And straight to the GMB. He's on Facebook, so I'm just translating here.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a GMB app back in the day that you could download on your phone, but now it's synced in with your map, Google Maps app on your phone. So if he wants, he can try uploading it from that area. And what I've noticed is anytime you do it through your phone, it'll, or that app, the Google Maps, it'll go in pretty easily.
Awesome. That's great advice. So I would give that a try. Eugene says to crop them. I know that they do have size limitations.
Randy's saying that he should check back in a few days because all of his are getting declined, but then they go live after a few days. So that could be another thing to look at.
Maybe there's a just like an approval process.
Right, like a little wait time penalty box or something.
Cool. So let's see.
Luke is next. Luke was asking about the reporting module, and is there a way to send recurring reports to a client every month to show them the number of leads they're getting?
Yeah, so great question. That reporting module, we've had it like kicking around. I think we just put final approval, so I think that might be live for you guys tomorrow. It is super cool. It has two reports to start with, but I'm wondering if there's a way. I think I can show you a prototype of this real quick. I'm not going to share the version we have because it has our like personal company data in there, but I will show you what's coming. There will be a new module. I think it's going to be live tomorrow or the next day, but it is going to say reporting. You'll see it on the left side. I am trying to find this. So with that, you'll have the ability to create branded reports. and you will, here we go. I found it. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'll take you through this to give you an idea of this. We've been back and forth. This pulls from, nope, that's the wrong one. I might not be showing it to you. Give me a second, guys. Maybe this one. Okay. So with this, you'll have the ability to like set reports, a schedule, and brand those things out. Okay, cool. I found it. So this is what's coming, and we'll build out the training on how this works. Can you guys see my screen? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Eugene, thank you. All right. So you see over here on the left side where it says reports, this is where you'll find it. I'm not 100% sure if this prototype that we have here is the latest version. So I will kind of like work our way through it. You'll see this is a list of the reports that we have saved, and you can see the schedule. You have the option to duplicate them or to edit the schedule through here. If I go through and create a new report, I can either select from a template or I can choose an existing one. So if I select from a template, right now there are only 2 reports. That's what we're going to launch with, the calls reports and the leads report. So the calls are obviously just the phone calls, and the leads are a mixture of phone calls and form submissions, things that have been marked as like as a qualified lead. So basically what you can do is you can go through and we can add our logo here. We can add cover photos. You can choose a few different styles, and you have the option to set colors for it. So if I want to like put my own branding here and set that up, I can set that up. And then as we scroll down, this is what so your company or whatever it is will go here. And as we scroll down, I think this is a calls report. So you'll see these calls, and you'll also have the ability to play this back. So you have a few different options on how to send this to your clients. So one, you can send this as a PDF. If you send it as a PDF, I think these are all links to actually play back the call. You can actually send it as a link though, too. So they could click on that link and it will open it up. And at that point, all of these will be able to be played from here. Or you can send it as a CSV, and that will pull out some of this like analytic stuff, and it will just be kind of this calls report. The way this will work, and I'm not sure that this is actually going to show me. Yeah, this is okay. Here's the default settings. So you have the ability to like set up default settings so that every report will have, will kind of have this, the same company, the same branding. And this prototype isn't going to get me what I need, but you'll have this option where essentially you schedule the report. So I can schedule it for whatever I want, and I can limit the companies that are on that report. And I can also schedule it within the schedule. I can set a delivery address of where it's going to go. And we have a checkbox in there where you can say requires approval. So that means it won't get sent to the client until it's been marked as approved. So we can have it automatically come to you. Maybe it's every Friday. It gets delivered to you and says, here's the report. Is this approved? And then when you say yes, then it distributes it to the list. So that's the setup. We have this, like I said, this is a prototype. So this isn't like a live version of this, but you should see this in the next 24 to 48 hours. We gave the final approval this morning on this. So look for this to go live. And then we have 2 right now. We have the calls and the leads, but this quickly is going to go to probably 20 or 30. So for those of you guys that are taking advantage of like Google Analytics, mixing in the heat maps, the reviews, all these different things can be a part of this report. So part of what we're teaching with having that monthly check-in, I want to give you guys a template that you can use for your monthly check-in where you say, okay, here's the analytics traffic, here's the reviews, here's how the heat map has moved, and then have a section where you can add in maybe links to those other pages. But we wanted to get this out to you guys without going crazy building out all the different versions of this. So Robert Strada, that's a game changer. Love to hear that, man. Alfredo, appreciate that. Yes,
Jannery has her hand up, Patrick, and then Shannon has a question as well, but I'm not sure whose hand went up and versus question got put in there.
Okay, I see Jannery's hand up, so let's go to her and then we'll go over to Shannon.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my God, so I just changed the audio to my phone and maybe we're good now. So I had a question from earlier with the, well, actually for the reporting, are you going to add anything where we can kind of show maybe return on investment and numbers aside from the analytics?
I'm sorry, I think I missed a critical word there. What was before investment? Are you going to show something where we can show, oh, return on investment? Is that what you said?
Yeah, something like that.
I guess for return on investment to work, we would need to know, like, there'd have to be a way for them to put their numbers back in. Like, what did they actually close?
Yeah.
This reporting module is going to be shaped by your guys' feedback. So I don't want to put it in a box and say we can't do that, but we would need the ability. I guess what we would need is we need the ability to have custom fields be a part of the reporting. And then you guys could create a custom field and do a formula on that field. So I think that's a great idea. So we'll put that on the roadmap. It's not something that's going to be live in this first release though.
Gotcha. Okay. That's fine. I just figured like I want to start sending reports where it has all the analytics and, hey, you spend this much money and this is how much we returned based on the leads and, you know, how much you closed, like something like that. Not just, hey, here's the calls, here's the leads, but just a big picture that shows everything in one snapshot.
I love that. It's really hard for someone to churn if they've got a positive ROI. And if we can find a way to create that transparency on what that is, then like, how can they ever leave us, right? And if they don't leave us and we're able to manage it, this is where scaling happens, right? If we're able to add more clients without losing our clients, then our number goes up each month. So I'm in full support of any system that's going to help justify that cost. And I think that is in perfect alignment with it.
I agree
Perfect.
with Jannery
And then
too.
my second,
Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I just
Sorry.
wanted to say, like, if you have that set up too, I think it's going to incentivize more of the business owners to actually come in and update the CRM, right? Because now they have a report at the end of the month. They're like, okay, this many people converted, so that they, you know, it's gonna have a big incentive for them to, you know, use it more. I think, you know.
100%. And if you start to gather this data, what does this look like for your sales process when you're like, hey, the average return on investment for our clients is 400%, right? Like if you have that, and I'll show you the data, like here it is right here in our system. Here's this person, here's this person, here's this person. They put it in at the end of the month, and then we use that based on what our spend is to calculate their ROI for them. That becomes a killer sales tool. If you can give them that data, it takes away the risk, right? For any of you guys that haven't read Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers, read that. It talks about the value equation and how if we can decrease or increase the prospect's likelihood of success and decrease the time to deliver, then we make our offer a lot stronger, right? And that's exactly what that can be for our prospects. It can, like, if we can give them that data, their chances of success, their perceived chances of success go through the roof, which I think is an amazing sales tool. Jannery Canary, I know you got a second question.
Yes, it'll be quick. I just want to know if this is possible. I've been thinking, doing lead gen for brick and mortar, depending on the niche, of course. Maybe, I don't know if it's blogs, general informational website, or directory, and then combining it with the, you know, adding service to the business owner where we're doing SEO and all that stuff. Is there a way to do that successfully?
I would say doing lead gen for the brick and mortar will work. You can set it up as a service area business. You just need to make sure that you don't do it for a brick and mortar where they're the only gig in town, right? Because you don't want to build something out that is so specific to them. Then you lose that kind of some of the big benefits of owning a lead gen, right? So as long, like, imagine that I have like a, I don't like this niche, but I'm just going to use it as an example. Imagine that there's a dentist and I've got this dental lead gen built out. And then like somebody calls this and it's not really branded to that dentist. They call it, but that number forwards to the dentist. And there's someone who, you know, fulfills that service. You could have lead gens all over the place to kind of like drive them in there. The problem is when you do this for like brick and mortar is, for most brick and mortar businesses, proximity to the location matters for people. Like if there's some great restaurant that is like an hour away, like I'm probably not going to go to it. because I want to go like if I'm looking for a local service, then I want to be close to that business, right? So that, but absolutely, you could have the SEO services reputation managed for them. I would just be careful. There's a lot of things to consider if you try to do lead gen on a brick and mortar, but it would be possible.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with it.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking of doing it maybe directory based, so it has some sort of information. So the directory is something that I own, and then I drive the traffic to the business owner with their information.
Right.
So
If you're going to do that,
So
just make sure you have a backup plan.
Okay. I'm not doing this right now. I just wanted to know. I was thinking about some niches. So
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jannery. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more clarity on it.
thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go over to Shannon.
Yeah, she's having issues with web host Python, has 60 sites now and it's getting slower and slower, she says. So
yeah, I started using the one that you recommended, Patrick, I've got 2 years ago, probably. But now all of a sudden I've noticed it's getting slower and slower. And I've asked my VAs and I keep saying, oh, I found, they haven't come up with an answer yet. So I'm wondering if there's any other, are you still using web Python? Is there something else you'd suggest or?
Yeah. I after being like for the first year and a half or 2 years, I was really impressed with web host Python. And that's why I made the recommendation. It wasn't something I like jumped into. But we have had issues and we've stretched the server that we're using with web host Python a long way. What has continued to be true is their support is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I would lean on their support for this issue. They have the available resources to run a massive network, bigger, like everyone on every one site on this call and in our group could be on their server. If you allocate the right resources and set things up correctly, it can be lightning fast. They almost, you know, I've got multiple servers for like LeadSnap and for some other like big projects. We put those on Amazon Web Services because it's the most secure. It's also expensive. And because of that, I've had to hire a really high level system administrator, and that person's very expensive. For web host Python, it's almost like they provide that service for you. They have these guys that are on their support that are experts with this stuff. And if you say, hey, what do I need to do? This stuff is running too slow. Do I need to upgrade or is there something else going on? They are the ones. I would not lean on a VA for that question. I would leverage those like ridiculously smart people that work there. And they've come through for me in really complex situations. And I would also, Shannon, I would also ask them for like, what are the best practices that we're not doing? You should have some sort of backup, right? You should always be like once a week, all your sites should be getting backed up.
Yeah.
Changes happen and like, that stuff should be backed off site. It shouldn't be backed up on web host Python. Maybe it's backed up to Dropbox or Google Drive or something like that. Microsoft OneDrop or whatever it is called. So those would be my first steps.
Okay.
I think it's probably a configuration issue, or maybe there's not enough resources as your company's grown and you've added more sites. Maybe you haven't increased the necessary resources. Does that sound like a solution to you, or have you tried that already?
No, I'll try that. I mean, when I went in, I think you had like 100 plus. So I said, oh, I'm going to do the same one as him because I'm going to grow that high or something. And so, and I haven't grown that fast, but I've just noticed it's getting worse and worse and worse. And so I just said, you know, we've got, and I was just hiring an SEO person, and I asked them during the hiring to do an SEO audit on different sites of mine, and every single one of them came back with the speed was an issue. You know, so, and I thank you for that with hiring. I know you said that a while back, and I do always make them do like something that they're gonna, so I had them do SEO audits, and it definitely knocked a couple out that I might have hired before I had them do that audit. So that's still
you use the
great
SEO
idea.
audit. Use an SEO audit
it's
as a way to qualify them for the job.
Qualify them for the job, yeah. So, and I remembered you had mentioned that before, and besides I got free SEO audits, but it also gave me, and how fast they did it, and I gave them an option of doing 1 or 3. So it just showed me how hungry they were too.
Right.
So it was a really good, it's a very valuable hiring technique that I got from you. So thanks for that too.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And get ready to grow. I saw that you joined Rank Masters. I'm excited that you're in there. We're gonna blow this thing up for you.
I'm gonna definitely make the July one too. I'm sorry I couldn't
Awesome.
make the last one.
Yeah. I don't know. You saw our first call is tomorrow. So we'd love to have you.
No,
on.
I didn't see it. When?
Tomorrow
is it like
at 3.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
inside there. Okay,
Inside there. And
Three
yeah, it's gonna be
Eastern,
me and
three
Chris.
Eastern.
Eastern, yep,
3 Eastern. Yep.
perfect. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. All right. Let's go over to Mr. Ben Williams.
Ben,
Got radio silence. Mr. Ben, are you available? I see your hand up. Maybe it was a misclick.
alrighty then.
Okay. All right. We will move on from Ben. All right. Is there any final questions? We are at the 4 o'clock mark. If not, I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes to chime in. Jeff, are you seeing anything in Facebook?
I am not at this point.
Hello?
Like,
I'm
they're
sorry.
all quiet.
We got Ben.
Sure, definitely. I'm back.
Hey, Ben, how's it going, man?
It's good. It's going good. How is it going for you guys?
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's going well, man. So what are you struggling with?
Good. Now, if you have an actual brick and mortar, which is my case, and you want to use that as a case study and sell some of the leads, is that possible? Is that doable? Or if that makes sense? I want to start that way. My own business, I rank it and sell some of the lead and around the same line that I'm doing as a business. I'm in New York, so I said I want to ask you guys to see if that makes sense.
Okay, so let me just reiterate this back and make sure we're on the same page. So you have a brick and mortar that provides a service, and instead of taking all the leads for yourself, you'd like to take some of them, but sell some to maybe someone else locally that does the same service. Is that correct?
It's not correct. Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
that is correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. Once that lead comes in, that's yours. And having a brick and mortar kind of makes things a lot easier. One of the things that like we've known for a while, I've shared this a few times, is showing your address is going to make it easier for you to rank, right? It's just like we're going through a lot of times we hid the address, we're unhiding the address for a lot of ours. So by having a brick and mortar, that address is visible. You have the ability to take pictures from the street. Like, Ben, do you already have a verified Google My Business at your location?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. So a lot of times that verification process is a lot easier for brick and mortars, but you've already got that set up. Absolutely. You're kind of in a great situation there where you have this kind of physical address to lean on from a trust standpoint for Google. And once that lead comes in, man, that's yours. You do what you like with it. And you can kind of, if I were in your shoes, I would maybe cherry pick the ones that are the most profitable for me and then offload the other ones. And yeah, there's no reason why you can't be selling those off.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ben. Is this your first call?
Yeah, that's my first call. It's my first time calling.
Awesome, man. Let's welcome Ben to the group, guys. I love seeing this expand into not just like marketers and lead gen, but also people that are the business owners like Ben that are trying to figure this stuff out, man. We're happy you're here. I hope you'll join us again and you can continue to get some value from this.
Definitely. I will always be here.
Awesome. Super cool, man. All right, guys, we're past 4 o'clock. So once again, next week, no call. So Jeff and myself are going to another mastermind event to try to level up our skills and bring back some more value to you guys. But we'll be back 2 weeks from now. So you guys, between now and 2 weeks from now, do what you got to do to put yourself in a better position. Let's create some wins. Let's create some momentum. And you guys have an amazing week. All right, everyone, stay safe. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Later, Pat.
Hasta la
Jeff.
próxima. Ciao.
See ya.